Hey guys, it's Lauren Yates from Rave It Up here, and today we're going to be having a chat over Zoom with Jodie and Anastasia from the business RiSe Women and the Secrets of Confident Women podcast, which I was just on the 16th of September. They are such incredible women, amazing role models, and we talk to them about their own confidence journeys, the challenges they faced when they first started their business. They give us tips on how to increase our own confidence, and then we finish up by playing our legendary 2-minute hot seat game, and they verse each other. It's really, really funny and so much fun. There's so much for us to take away from this interview, so let's get into it now. Before we get into today's interview, we would like to give a shout out to our Patreons, Irene, Bev, and Michael. If you haven't heard of Patreon before, it is a great way to support us and keep us running and improving. You pick a membership tier that suits you and your budget per month, and in return for supporting us, we'll give you behind-the-scenes content and free stuff. You don't have to give much either. You can be a part of our Patreons for as little as $4 a month. Just visit patreon.com/raveitup. You can even donate through PayPal if you don't trust other sites. You can do so just through our email, raveituptv@gmail.com. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. We appreciate anything you can do to support us. Now, let's get into this interview. Jodie and Anastasia, welcome to Rave It Up. It is a pleasure to finally have you on the show. How are you both going today?
Good, thank you. Welcome. It's great to be here.
I know. I've been on your podcast, as some people probably already know, so it's great to finally have you on mine as well and hear about your career. You've heard about mine, so it's about time, right? So for our audience, if you want to check out Jodie and Anastasia's podcast, Secrets of Confident Women, amazing, credible, love it, love it, love it. I really want to talk about, obviously, your business, RiSe Women, which has been around for 7 to 8 years. I do want to talk about that a little later on because I do want to talk about this podcast since it's so exciting. It's such a great idea for a podcast, I got to say, especially for us women, you know. We might have days where we feel like really, really confident, and then there's other days where we don't really feel confident. So it's great to kind of get those tips from all these other women around the world. But where did the idea for the podcast come about for you ladies? Because it just seemed like you already had enough work with the business. Why add on another thing?
Well, you know what? It's the classic COVID answer to this one. Because last year we were about to, oh my God, and I'm so glad this didn't happen, but we were about to start YouTube videos and do all this video, which was weighing on us a little bit just because, you know, we have kids and we operate different hours and and Anastasia doesn't like videos, and, you know, we just videoed our whole online course. Anyway, so we thought we're going into video, and then COVID came and Anastasia and I couldn't see each other for quite a long time. So we were still so the video thing was completely out the window, and we were still trying to keep things going. And I'm not sure if we'd had an idea for the podcast. You know, we've got on our whiteboard, which you can't see up here, but there's it's full of bits of paper of ideas and things that we have that are up there for a certain time. So anyway, so we thought about doing a podcast, and look, I guess the idea came, we wanted to be able to share more of our stuff and reach further afield and share more of our techniques and things like that. But we also wanted, because we don't have all the answers, and we wanted to include other women to share their ideas about how they keep their confidence up. Because as you say, confidence isn't, you know, it's not, and we say it all the time, it's not like you get it and then you've got it for good. It's the constant challenge of managing the ups and downs of confidence. And at different times of our lives, which, we find through people we coach and people who come our way to get coaching. Generally, there's been some sort of life event, whether it's I've had kids and I need to get back into the workforce and I feel like I'm out of touch, or I'm trying to take my career to the next level and I just can't seem to get the confidence to go over that thing, or I've gone through divorce and everything's sort of changed and my life's changed and I've had a real block. Like there's different parts that at different, or just I'm getting older and I don't know what I'm doing with my life, like all different parts of all different times of our life, we need that confidence hit. So we wanted to start interviewing other women who have been in all different situations, because Anastasia and I haven't been in every situation. So, but other people have such a story to share and how they dealt with certain things in their life, whether it be career or divorce or, health challenges or all sorts of different things, and also interview people who had expertise in certain areas, whether it be networking or presenting or legal stuff, or all these different experts that we also find to come in and share with us their ideas and their techniques that they use or that they have researched in their field of expertise. So we started it and then we just love it so much. Actually, Anastasia said to me yesterday, because I've just been recording a few different international ones this week, and then I record them and I edit them and then I put them on a program that Anastasia can then listen to them and do all the writing about, And she's like, oh my God, I miss it so much, because she's
never thought I'd love it so much.
Yeah.
I don't like videos. I'm the behind the scenes. I'm usually behind the camera. I don't do our presentations, but podcasting is something else.
Yeah.
Like, you'd understand, Lauren. It's just when you can have that conversation with someone and get some really, really great nuggets of gold, and then you can share it with people. So much fun. I love it.
I love all the platforms that are available now that you can share it out so easily, and then it's entirely up to you with how much you want to edit and add things in. And
we've just had such a great response from it, I think. So, apart from, everything else with social media, and you got to have a website and you got to have this is it's really accessible for people. They don't have to sit and read blogs or read articles or whatever. They can sit on the train to work. They can be doing their housework. They can be driving somewhere and listen to these things. And through, which is why podcasting, I guess, is such a thing at the moment. Everyone's into it, which I am as well. I love listening to podcasts on my morning walk with the puppy dogs or what have you. But it's even, I was mentoring a lady about a couple of days ago, and I could sort of say to her exactly what the challenges she was finding. I said to her, right, so go and listen to episode 32, because this lady was, and she'll help you with it. And it was really actionable takeaway that this lady could then go and listen to an expert in an area where she's really having a challenge. So it's so easy to give out to people and sort of say, oh, go listen to this one. This episode will really help you get over that next challenge, or is really relevant to you at this time. So it's been fun for us, and we've been getting such a great response back. So it's a win-win all round.
It's great that you have such a variety of different people as well. So there's always something that a woman can relate to. They'll be like, oh, I'm going through that right now. Yeah. And you've only just started it, really. It's 41 episodes, was it? 41 was mine. So 41 episodes, you've got such a long way to go still. I can just imagine what it can just grow into. So
I think that's it all. I think that's where we did because it was the secrets of confident women. It's our secrets, it's your secrets, it's everyone we've interviewed, but we've tried to really find different topics and women in different areas, or who have written different books and specialized in a certain area, or so it is quite broad and hits a lot of different topics, it gets a lot of different life life examples from people who have gone through different things, whether it's Ellie Cole, Paralympian, whether it's Shelley Horton about presenting, whether it's a lady, one of our top podcasts is a lady called Wendy who went through divorce and really rebuilt her life. That it's got something for everybody. So yeah, we've been thrilled.
Oh, it's great that you interviewed
another great
Horton.
thing.
I've interviewed her too, and she's like amazing when it comes to confidence.
Yeah,
good fun. And I think that the flip side of all the diversity in our guests is also that there's so many repeated themes that come up that we love as well, because everyone's got a different story, but the core elements of, how you've lost your confidence, how you rebuild it, the techniques that work, the things that we teach, but also the things that other women have practiced. There's really, really core themes that we find, and it's so great to be able to reiterate that over and over again. Yeah, just go, we understand that you feel this way, because, all women feel this way. It's completely normal. And here are techniques that everyone can implement.
Yeah,
it's normalized.
Not alone.
Yeah, it's normalized that, confidence is just one of those things that you continually need to work on, and you just need to manage the ups and downs that everybody is managing, whether you think they're confident or not. One of the things I'm always talking about, Anastasia and I, is saying, we are confident women, and there are days when we are not confident women.
Me too.
It's not a given. It's just something that is the constant management. And that allows for people to think, well, there's not something wrong with me if I'm having low confidence day or period of my life. I've just got to get back onto the track and working on the techniques that work for me to get my confidence back to where it is, so that I can, do the things I want to do in my life.
Yeah, and more.
And more.
And more. I love it. Now, I know this is probably a hard question, because when people ask me it, I'm like, oh, I don't have one. I got like a top 5. Do you have an all-time favorite episode or a top 5?
I kind of have, I know this is going to sound really, kind of a no-brainer, but they're all my favorites because they're all so different. So I loved, I've interviewed my sister, which was incredible. And she was my favorite because she spoke about things that I can't relate to. Like, she spoke about being a young woman in a very male-dominated industry. Yeah. And I loved that because I knew that would impact so many women that I just can't speak to.
Yeah.
And then, I interviewed Ellie Cole, which was incredible because, again, that's a completely different thing that I have never dealt with, being an Olympian, being a Paralympian and winning gold medals. So she could speak to things that Jodie and I just can't speak about. Shelley Horton, it wasn't one of my interviews, but I loved it. Jodie did that one.
Yep.
And to be honest, I really love the ones that we do together. There are a lot of interviews where they're not interviews, they're just episodes where Jodie and I talk together and we pick a theme and we talk it through. And so those are some of my favorites as well, because it's just a really great chat. It's often just the way we'd speak in the office, and it's great to be able to share that with people and for them to hear what our kind of inner thinkings are.
Yeah, well, I listened to a little bit of the interview where Jodie interviewed you, Anastasia, and that was really entertaining. I was like, I see how the two girls work off each other.
Yeah.
They're always great interviews when we discuss things together.
Well, it's a great way for the audience to get to know you too and find out how you've become who you are and where you get your confidence.
Yeah. As I mentioned, Wendy Pettifer is a friend. She was I was introduced to her like a friend through a friend type thing. And hers is still our most downloaded episode. It's called Rebuilding Confidence After a Marriage Breakdown. And it's still, it's been, and she was quite early on in our recordings when we started the podcast, but still to this day is the most downloaded. So that really, really resonated with people. And then one of our ones, How to Stop Negative Thoughts from Ruining Your Life, is just that's the second one, which is just I think everyone reads that title and goes, yes. Right.
That's what everybody is Googling. After marriage breakdown, they're probably Googling that, how to get over it and get back to me. And then they're probably searching negative thoughts too.
Yeah. That's right. So, and then the third most downloaded is Karen, which is a client of mine, who, again, that was another one. She really transformed her life after a very difficult marriage breakup and very toxic. And she has created this amazing business. I mean, and I was in tears at the end of that one. It was just so amazing. But yeah, it's interesting which ones have really appealed to the broader audience. But look, we love all our guests. So
of course, you hold a little space, in your heart for every single one of them. I completely understand.
As Anastasia said, they've all got something different. They've all got, it's hearing people's stories and struggles and challenges and triumphs, and so it's everyone's individual in that, and it's really wonderful to bring those stories to the forefront. I was interviewing a lady the other day about a book that she'd written, and it's got 35 stories of inspirational women, and the book's called Tell Her She Can't, about women they've been told they couldn't do something and they did it anyway in all walks of life. Anyway, so I was interviewing her, we had a great chat, it was so amazing, blah blah blah. Right at the end, we ask the same questions to everyone, as you'll know, and I said to her, who inspires you and why? And she went into this story completely, like it was, we didn't even know it was going to happen. It wasn't part of the questions. And she talked about how she'd actually dedicated the book to herself. And I had read the dedication, because I always read the dedication and acknowledgements of books, right? But it wasn't her name. It was a different name. But she said she as a young girl, she couldn't pronounce her name. So it was like this changed, version of her name. And then we were both in tears, like this whole story, because she went through a really challenging sort of childhood, very negative, and the dedication was, we made it, talking to her younger self.
Oh my God.
Like
it's gonna make me
you just
cry
can't.
now.
That's right. You just can't, and that was I got off that episode so inspired and touched and just amazed at this woman's story. You just can't predict any of that. Everyone's got something that's really appealing in the story. And that's why we love doing the podcast and interviewing different people, to hear different stories.
Well, it's great that we can all relate, because we all are interviewers, that every single interview you get something different out of it. That's why I've never, when people go, what's your favorite? I'm like, that is such a hard question. You can't just pick one. Doing it for 11 years, that's a lot of interviews to pick one.
Yeah. Right.
And interviewing every single week, you always have a new one. So you're like, wait, that might be my new favorite. Every single interview. Well, keep it up, ladies. If anybody hasn't checked it out yet, please do so. You will not regret it. I even think, even men can probably take different things out of that.
They might get some insights into women.
Yeah.
And how women operate.
They could learn some things. But men also have issues with their own confidence as well. But obviously it is predominantly for women. And as you've explained, every woman's journey with confidence is different. It's very rare that we all, feel confident, especially at a young age. Like Jodie and I spoke about it in our interview, how shy I was when I was younger. And to kind of, when you're in that school environment and you're trying to be cool and fit in, but you're also trying to figure out who you are as well and who you want to be when you leave school, it is kind of hard to find that confidence and, just be really happy with who you are. I really wanted to know what your individual journeys with confidence has been like. Were you bullied at school at all, or any peers kind of bring that confidence down and affect it?
Mine was, it was an interesting journey because I didn't start unconfident. I was a really, really confident child. And teenager. And it is, in this day and age, a lot of children struggle with their confidence, and teenagers, just because of, I think, the impact of social media and expectations and pressures. But I had a really, really confident childhood. My teenage years were fine. Uni was fine. I think I lost myself later on. I went through that journey that so many women go through, where, you have a career and everything's going great. Then you stop to have children and you're out of the loop for a long time. And it was wonderful. I love being a mum, and it was fantastic, but there were elements of myself that I lost in that journey. And then my marriage fell apart, and there was a process where I could feel myself being broken down slowly. So it happened much later in life. And I found that it wasn't easy to come back, but because I had confidence techniques throughout my life that at the time I didn't know they were confidence techniques until I started working with Jodie. I did have ways to bring it back up. So once I realized, once I'd sorted out the marriage issues by stopping the marriage, my kids are a little bit older, so they weren't as needy and demanding anymore. And once you have time to actually focus on yourself, which I think that was the biggest hit to my confidence, that I forgot to work on it, that I just pushed it to the side because I just thought, I'll do it later. And then eventually later it just wasn't good enough anymore.
Yeah.
And I do have some techniques. Like I love being surrounded by the right people, and music is a big thing for me. And there are so many different elements, which, like I said, they were confidence techniques that I was using and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine was kind of a high, and then it dropped, and then it came back up again. And like we said earlier, it comes and goes. There are days where I feel like I could take over the world, and then other days where I just go, yeah, not today. I'm just going to sit on the couch. I'm going to make 4 coffees. I'm going to read a book, and I'm not talking to anyone.
Yeah, that's fine. We all have those days.
Yeah. So it comes and goes. But
when becoming
generally,
a mother as well, because obviously I'm not a mum, so I can't speak for that. But for you ladies, do you think, like your story, Anastasia, where becoming a mum and being out of the loop for a while, do you think losing your confidence is kind of because you become, I guess that mum Anastasia instead of the Anastasia you were before that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you put so much emphasis and focus on other people that you forget to worry about. Mental health and well-being and self-care is such a big deal now, but a lot of mums push that to the side because their focus is to look after little people.
Yeah.
And they're not little people that you
They're
can interact with in an adult way.
Very needy little people.
They actually need you.
They always want to eat. They always want to eat. And, you can't have adult interactions with them when they're that little. So you can't talk things through. They yell at you and then you need to respond.
Yes.
So I found that, that was definitely a catalyst for me. But on the flip side, I think they've helped me rebuild it as well, because there are things that I've realized I want to teach my children when it comes to confidence, especially my daughter who's a teenager now. And I don't want her to have to go through drops like I did. So it makes me really self-aware about confidence now, because it is something that I want to teach my children, intentionally teach them.
So I guess
that's been part of the journey.
So I guess as a tip, would you ladies definitely recommend for women that are mothers or about to have a baby that definitely put time aside for that self-care? Especially if you've done it beforehand, you really have to do it even more when you do have a baby, right?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And it's just finding, it's self-care. And I think that word's used in a way that we sort of go, I have to have a bath and have a facial and whatever. Sometimes you just need, self-care is also about identity and just maintaining some of who you are and your identity. So whether it's things that you still doing things that you love and identify with, and for some women that is getting back into work and doing, there's a real identity there, and other women don't want to do that, but it's really finding what is important for you and really trying to maintain some of that identity, because I think that's what really shakes the confidence, where I know that's probably what it was for me when I had children, is I just felt like I was just a chicken schnitzel bloody cooking machine. And that's all, because nobody wanted anything from me except food. And, and I hate cooking, Lauren. I'm just the worst cook. I have no interest in cooking. So to just be tired in this kitchen all the time, cooking making snacks, I was like, oh my God, what has my life become? Seriously.
That's not you.
But it's not like you can just take a day off from that, because, people need
to eat.
Constant
food.
They need to be
fed. Pretty important.
Yeah. So it's fine. It's that sort of change where you just, the things that you have to do each day become vital, for little people's survival. And so you can't just go, look, I'm not feeling it today. I'm going to take the week off. I'm just going to, that doesn't happen anymore. So, but I think that's that identity thing, is keeping parts of what makes you going. So you still identify as that person.
Yeah. We need like the universal remote control from the movie Click, where you just pause your life and go, cool,
Yes.
I'll get back to that cooking later. I need a break.
That would be
back to your original question of, I wasn't a confident teenager as such. I think probably a younger girl. And then my story is that my mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor when I was about 12 or 13. And she really decided, it was the 80s. So she really decided, a lot of the new age stuff was coming out. The Deepak Chopras were there, the Louise Hayes, all this new view of positive thinking and changing your life and being in control. All that sort of had just really started on the market. Yeah. And she decided that she was going to cure herself, and that she identified that if she had created the tumor, then she had control over the tumor. So she really went on a very significant personal development journey and really a transformation of her life. And so I just was introduced from a very early age, books about all that sort of stuff, like Louise Hayes, You Can Heal Your Life. I was given that at about 12 or 13. I mean, that's just unheard of. And that was such a revelation for me, that you can control your thoughts. And I'm like, hang on a second. So, so I think for me, I was really fortunate to get onto a personal development journey so early, and just move through a lot of these concepts and learn so much of this at such a young age. So at 16, 18, 22, 23, I had a toolkit of tools, of especially, and they've progressed, and I still use them. I still use some of them today, but to get those concepts really early on in my young teenage years, where I could start really changing my mindset and changing my thinking and being in charge and being responsible for what was happening in my life. That was something that really helped my confidence and changed the course of my life, because I guess of mum's adversity and just what came into my life, the books and the videos and everything that came into my life at that point sent me on a completely different path, and and helped me to build confidence from that point.
Kind of like it was meant to be. I don't mean like meant to be that your mom got a brain tumor. I mean, meant to be that you were supposed to be immersed in all of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's, when I found life coaching, when that came along, and, I'd had a long career in hotels and running in hospitality management, and then life coaching emerged. And when I went to I went to a first seminar thing about finding out about the course and finding out about the industry, I was like, oh, of course, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It was so clear. It was just like, oh, okay, this is what I've been doing up to this point. And so it was a really, and that was all because I started this thinking and learning different techniques and reading this information and doing more personal development from a very young age, I guess younger than a lot of people, at that time. So it was a no-brainer that this is what I was going to do. It was just like the light bulb went on to go, oh, okay, here we are. Okay, let's go.
When that happens.
It was.
I hope everyone experiences that light bulb moment at least once in their life.
Absolutely.
I think I've had it a few times.
Yeah. There's like a knowing or something. It's just like a knowing that you go, oh, right. All this is to get me to this point,
it comes to line, doesn't it?
That's right.
Oh, this is what passion feels like.
Yes.
That's what I'm supposed to do.
Exactly.
Well, I'd love to talk about the business side of things. So, RiSe Women, for those who don't know, is a business dedicated to helping women build their confidence. Pretty self-explanatory with what we've been talking about. How did you two originally meet? When I was doing our research on you, something like a children's dance class, is that right? Like, how do you go from that?
Just meant to happen.
Yeah, I guess that I totally understand when, parents become friends and all that, but how do you go from friends to business partners? That's a really big jump.
It was an interesting start. I remember our daughters were really young. So just by coincidence, we have daughters the same age and sons the same age.
Oh,
and our daughters were in a dance class, and, we'd take our sons, we'd dump them in the park and they'd play around while we're waiting for the girls. And it came to a point where Jodie was working for another organization, and every week she'd come to dance class and go, I'm so flat out, I need an assistant. And I'd come to dance class and I'd stopped. I was, in the legal industry beforehand. And I'd stopped work and I needed to get back into the workforce, but I didn't want to go back to law. So I'm coming to dance every week just going, oh my God, I really need a job. And Jodie would be going, I really need an assistant. And we just couldn't hear each other. There was some sort of a disconnect. And then one of the other mums I remember, one of the other mums just went, can you two not hear each other? And went, oh yeah, okay. So I started working with Jodie in this organization, and then we just clicked really well because we complement each other, I think, and we both have strengths. And then areas where, I don't know, you could call them areas of development, I guess, where we help each other out. And then as Jodie kind of created this idea of RiSe Women more and more in her head, she finally got to the point where she said, I'm ready to start this business as my full-time job. So resigned the organisation. I took her role in that organisation. Jodie started RiSe Women. And then after a few weeks just went, do you want to go partners? I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, it was just a complete no-brainer because we just work so well together.
So has there been any times that you ladies butt heads, there must be some things that you don't agree on or have to discuss?
I don't drink.
She hates that I can't spell. So I often get a text message at 8:00 at night when our social media post has gone up, and she's like, with circles, like a picture of it with circles around, like, can you edit
something we have in common, Anastasia? I'm one of those punctuation and spelling police women as well.
But I think that's it. I think we have a really great understanding of the fact that we both bring strengths to the business. We're both very much aware of where our limitations are.
Yes.
I know that there's just some stuff, like there's a lot of website back end, because Jodie's built our website. Every time we've had a new iteration of our website, Jodie's built it from scratch.
Wow.
And good on you, Jodie. It just doesn't make sense in my head, right? And our accounts, Jodie will do our accounts, but if there's anything legal, she'll slide it across the table to me and go, legal department, this is for you. If something needs to be recorded, I'll go, this is yours. And then if we need a transcript of it, she'll go, right, back at you. So we understand that we've got strengths and limitations, and I think we work well together because there's a good connect on that.
You get them out early enough. It's probably good that you worked together beforehand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think, it's just that it works, as Anastasia said. We just know what we're in charge of, and and then we come together. And look, we've gone through significant challenges, as any business owner has. I think it's also good that we have children the same age. We're both juggling a lot of things, so we get it. When sometimes things happen and we go, I just can't be there today. Yeah. We go, got that. Like, it's clear, and it's not from slacking off. It's like, my child is vomiting. I've got this happening. I can't be at this thing today. So I think there's an understanding from the lives that we both live, trying to be flexible and trying to juggle the trillion things that we do. But I guess I will say one thing about Anastasia is this business, from the challenges that we've gone through. Yeah.
I'm worried.
No, from the challenges that we've gone through, this business would not have continued if it wasn't for Anastasia. So as much as sometimes I'm the ideas woman behind different things, I'm the high level, I get excited about lots of different things.
It goes from one sentence to, oh my God, this is going to take over the world in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm always taking over the world. But like for but Anastasia's the one that keeps us on track to a point, but also is the most positive. So I have the highs and lows of confidence in the business, and she's always the one that is the more steady person that goes, okay, this is hard and we'll get through this. And like, for example, when we self-published my book, and it's got my name on it, but Anastasia did all the editing. So it's really our book.
Yes.
That took months. Yeah. And, you know, and then I had started that book 10 years earlier. So it had always been part of my dream. And Anastasia eventually went, you know, when we first started working the business, and I said, I've got a manuscript for a book on the shelf. And she's like, I think we're getting that down off the shelf. And, you know, so it was always my dream. So, you know, having that first copy in my hand, and then we did a book launch, a public, you know, and we had all these people there, and it was amazing. And it was just like, it was such a dream come true. And the amount of work and money we put in, you know, like it was just, but it came to this amazing book and this amazing event. And I was flying high. And then our publisher went into liquidation and took everything.
Oh, no.
4 months after our launch.
Yeah.
And I was done. I was like, too hard. This is no. I had to I literally went into a month sabbatical and went, nah, I'm done. This is like pushing a bus up a hill, and I'm not playing. Yeah. And then it was sort of really Anastasia that was like, so I probably would have never got to that point without Anastasia, but I would definitely have given up after that. I would have gone, seriously, this is just too damn hard to be going through these sort of challenges. And it was devastating. I mean, it was really devastating because we didn't have a book at that point. Like our files were gone, everything was gone. Like we couldn't access anything. We would have had to literally start again from scratch. And so, you know, but after that month, it was really Anastasia it's her positivity and her outlook on life and just that calm, we're not giving up here, that helped me really get back on track. And, you know, I ended up setting up a Facebook group for authors that were also part of this book publishing company. And as a collective, we got, you know, we found printers who had our files. So we got the lawyers to let them, you know, release those files to it. We did all this. There was all this behind the scenes stuff, which took months. But it was really, and that's that, you know, we talk, and honestly, every single person we've ever interviewed has talked about the importance of the people around you, on your confidence, on your mindset. And that's one of those things that it's Anastasia and I, it's us against the world on this, but it's the people we have around each other, which is the two of us, that help us move forward and get the ideas and be confident in what we do and deal with the struggles and, you know, all those things. If we didn't work, you know, if she was a negative Nancy, it just wouldn't be working. No, we can't have those people around us because we're both so on that wavelength of inspiration and positivity and, you know, growth, and we can work anything out, and oh my God, this is a big challenge, but here we go. Let's
we have a little bit of a talk. We freak out for a little bit. We kind of catastrophize a little bit, and then we go, right, okay, that's put to the side. What do we do next?
Yeah. So it's just both being on that wavelength that I think makes the business work so well. If that's a roundabout story, but because you need people, you need people that are, even though we work so well because we have different roles in the business, we have the same attitude and the same mindset and the same push forward and the same positivity and the same resilience. We have that together. And I think if someone is in a business that is always going to be looking at the negative or that's not going to work. That's not going to work for, So yeah, we're opposite in some areas, but we're the same in all the areas that matter.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. We need to write that down somewhere.
Write that down.
I'll transcribe it for you.
Thank you very much.
No, it's good to have some opposites because then, what one is good at, the other might not be as good at, and you kind of complement each other. So
that's right.
There you go. I think that's great advice for anybody wanting to find a business partner. Make sure they've got those sort of qualities.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's hard. I mean, business is hard. It's like I said to a lady the other day, she was starting up a real estate business, and I said, this is the biggest personal development program you will ever go on, because every day is different. You have to manage your mindset. You have to have techniques in place to deal with the challenges that are coming. Like they're a given, right? So, it's important to have people around you and structures in place to be able to take on business the way it is,
Oh, I love that advice. Thanks so much, ladies. Hopefully everyone takes some of that stuff on board. I would love to also talk about each of your pasts now, if that's okay. So it's okay, nothing to get worried about.
You know about us.
Yeah, I know. I've done my research, there's so much I know.
That's ominous.
No, I haven't got that creepy. With you, Jodie, one of your qualifications is an advanced habit change practitioner. Is that correct? I didn't even know that was
right.
a thing. What is involved in that?
Well, it's actually a new thing. So I've just done all the courses this year. And we interviewed Dr. Gina Cleo on our podcast. And I'll tell you, it was another one of those moments where I spoke to her and then I looked at the course and I went, oh, of course I have to do this course. I see, I understand. Because I just love neuroscience. I love all the habit stuff. So and I've been doing a lot of that in the coaching already. So I did her, so she runs the Habit Institute of Australia, and I just did all the course. So it's all the neuroscience and the way habits work and the way our brain works. And I'm just one of those nerdy, dodgy neuroscience readers.
That's so interesting though.
I'm reading it. Yeah, it is. It lights me up. I just love it. So, so I've done all the real science behind breaking habits, putting new habits in, how we create new habits in our life from a neuroscience point of view. So that's all now part of my coaching program, my one-on-one coaching program. But what is interesting to note is that, when we think of habits, we think of, oh, I got to drink more water, and do I have a habit of, eating the right foods and exercising? But negative thinking is a habit. Not putting your hand up in meetings because you're worried about what people think is a habit. You create these habits that really affect your confidence and your mindset and all these sorts of things. So I've really brought the habit stuff into my practice from that point of view, to look at it from, okay, so what are we doing that, what are we doing that isn't working for you, that is affecting your confidence? Let's pinpoint the habits around that. Let's work on replacing those habits, breaking those habits and replacing them and creating new habits in our life, whether it be around thinking or things we do, or that will positively affect my confidence. Yeah. So it's all sort of a new thing. I did the course, loved it. And now I've really brought that into my coaching from a more strategic point, from a more scientific point of view, because I've taken all the neuroscience stuff and the proof and the studies which show the strategies to use to put these better habits into our lives. So
I think it's important for us to know kind of how the brain works in the neuroscience point of view so that we can control those thoughts a little bit better.
Oh,
maybe not to the whole point, degree that you have, but, little bits.
Yeah. But it's practice. It's really changing things and having the practice of it so that it becomes a more regular thing in your life. Negative thinking is a neural pathway that you've just, kept running. So we've got to interrupt that neural pathway and create a new neural pathway and then work on strengthening that, which is the repetition, which is doing it consistency. And then, but to do that, you have to have it, attached to another habit in your life that already, there's all this stuff to sort of fast track habits in our life, which has just been, anyway, I could talk all day. Let's not bore your listeners any further, but it's, you can see my face, like it lights me up. I'm through. It's exciting.
Well,
I love how intentional that is too. I love how that gives people an element of control. Like just hearing what Jodie's told me about the course that she did, I think so many people feel like their habits are out of control, that they're just by default and they can't change them. And the fact that now through the coaching, she can help people be more intentional about that and really purposefully change their habits, I think it's incredible.
Yeah,
it adds an edge to the coaching that, it's fantastic. And it gets results.
Definitely does. I'm so glad you've included it in your coaching as well. I also, this might sound a bit stalkerish, but I did also have a look at your past jobs as well, Jodie, and they include a lot of like hotel management sort of things, like reservations manager at Sheraton on the Park, group revenue manager, and a revenue manager for, Pepper's retreats and everything. There's a lot there. How on earth did you come up with the idea of RiSe Women then? Because that's very on a different path, like hotels and stuff, and then entrepreneurial, like starting a business.
Yes. Look, I loved hotels. Oh my God, it's still a passion of mine, working in big, and I traveled the world working in big hotels, and I love it. They light me up. It's an adrenaline rush running big rooms of, I've been in charge of functions up to 5,000 people, and it's just, they're amazing. It's just, you're on, right? It's fabulous. But when, I guess going back to the story, I was, when I found coaching in 2001 and started doing, I just knew that was, I'd always been in hotels running teams. Again, I'd always been on the personal development track. I just knew that this was something that really clicked for me, and that I was sort of already doing to a point with my friends and whatever, but I could just see the way forward. So I started doing that, and look, really the idea for RiSe Women came about was because I'm one of those strange people who love speaking in a microphone. So
no wonder you do.
So I started, starting the business, I started doing, and this is 2002, I started, putting my hand up for any, presentations, women's networking groups, all that sort of stuff, to talk about all different stuff that I, was talking about at that time. And at the end of every presentation, or at the end of presentation, I would have people coming up to me and saying, "Oh, you're so lucky to be confident. It's such I wish I had confidence to do what you do." And I sort of thought that was sort of like the penny drop for me to go,
that you can.
Well, I work on my confidence every day. This is not luck. There's not something that's, different to me than these people. So I sort of found this area that there was a real misconception around what confidence was, and that they just thought I was somehow blessed with some gene pool that they didn't get, and that they were never going to get in this lifetime. So I started writing presentations about confidence, and that's sort of how it all came about. And then it was really that people were just so surprised that you could affect your own confidence and do these things, and that there were techniques. So that's, I guess, how the business was sort of born, that's when I started writing, I started writing my book. Then I sort of took some time off to have children and all that sort of stuff. And then it was after that we saw, when I met Anastasia, that I sort of went, look, I had this business idea and I was starting it, and then I, sort of taken a break. And that's when it was like, do you fancy joining me to start again? And by the way, I've got a manuscript on the shelf. So, I guess, I started the business sort of back. I mean, I've been coaching since 2002. So it's been, 20 years. Obviously I had some time off in the middle for having kids and what have you. But so that's sort of how it transcribed into RiSe Women and what it is today. It was just finding that need that people were really confused about what confidence was. And it just, when I started coaching people, everyone had a confidence goal. Like, because whatever, when you're doing life coaching with people, they're usually after something. They're usually trying to create something in their life, whether it be a relationship or a new career or a job or a health thing. There's some sort of change they want to make in their life, and confidence, and like a new boost of confidence or confidence, is always the common denominator that they need to have to take on that new challenge, or to find a partner, or to take on a new career or whatever. So I was working on confidence goals with individuals from the very beginning. And I could see that this confidence thing was just the common denominator that everyone was sort of not, they didn't quite know how to get it, So I started like teaching them the confidence techniques that I use. And that's, I guess, how it all sort of turned into what we do now.
Hallelujah.
Imagine if that hadn't have happened.
I know. So many women that wouldn't have been helped.
Right?
Thank you, Jodie.
You're welcome.
You're amazing. You're both amazing role models. I'm so glad I have you on the show today. With Anastasia's past as well, I did read when I was doing my little research on you that you're also the co-founder of a charity as well called EROS. Is it pronounced EROS? Yes. Yeah. Tell us about what you're doing with that, and how can everyone help?
So EROS, it was born with myself and a few mums from my kids' primary school. And we'll sit around one day because we have a Greek background, which means we grew up with a lot of Greek events, and there was always stuff going on, and there were always fundraisers and big weddings, and lots of events to get together with family and friends. And we realized that as our children were growing up, they weren't getting the same opportunities as we were. And we remembered it really fondly. Like, it was a really fun time in my life to get together with all these friends, and we'd dance and there'd be food and everything. So we thought about having an event just for our kids to kind of pull all our friends together. We went, look, there's 5 of us. If we bring 20 people each, then we've got 100 people. We've got a party. We'll get the catering, which then turned into, I think, 330 people. There were like 180 raffle prizes. You
are Greek, remember? Like,
I know, right? But we didn't think it would go that far. And then we went, well, seeing as we're bringing people together, and we don't want to make money off this, but we need to pay for things like catering. And we decided to do a raffle, and there was entertainment, and we had a lot of sporting memorabilia that was donated for a silent auction, and just really great stuff, handbags and sunglasses, and once I think we even had a holiday, and holiday houses, and we thought, let's make it a fundraiser. So we literally sat around, we chose a fundraising or a charity or an organization each, threw it in a hat. I was lucky for the first event, our inaugural event, the Sydney Children's Hospital was pulled out of the hat. And my daughter spent some time there when she was born in the intensive care unit. So we decided to fundraise for them. And, again, we set our goals really low and went, look, if we can make $5,000 or $10,000, that'd be great. And we walked away with $38,000, which was incredible. And then it just got some momentum, and people heard about it. And the following year, we didn't even have to sell the tickets. People just came to us and went, are you holding another event? So 7 years later, I think we'd raised almost $200,000. Every year we do a different charity. It's one big event every year. We get some great corporate sponsorship. It's just so much fun. And it gives our kids wait for it, because it just gives them an opportunity to experience something that we had as children that they never did.
Yeah.
COVID has thrown a bit of a spanner in the works because we haven't been able to have an event this year or last year, and we're really missing it. Like, my kids ask me every year. Hopefully by next year we'll be able to do it again.
Yeah.
The word eros, I know it sounds a bit weird. It's called eros, charity from the heart, because eros in Greek means love. And that's all it was about. It's a form of love. It's about spending time with people that you love, being loving to others by being charitable, and just doing stuff that you love. So it's just been a great journey. It's grown incredibly. And I can't wait to see where it goes. I can't wait for COVID to be gone so we can get back into hosting these events.
Don't we all?
Yes,
exactly.
I know.
Anastasia and I haven't seen each other for what, 4 months now?
Oh,
yeah.
That's so sad.
It's all like this. I know.
Oh, there's only so much Zoom you can take, right?
Oh,
Zoom fatigue, it's a thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you told us how the name came about too, because I was about to ask that. The other
I know,
name
it's
I was
weird.
wondering about was RiSe Women as well, because I've noticed there's like a capital S in RiSe. Is there a meaning for that, or?
And it's red. And it's red.
And it's red. Yes, I've noticed it's red.
I think I just that was always the logo I had, even from the very beginning. And I wanted a red. I'm a red fanatic. Everything I have, it's just red. See, everything red, book red, everything's red.
Yeah.
People send me red stuff. People, when Apple launched their first red iPhone, I got that many messages that day going, Jodie, they've launched the phone. You have to have this. Like, people just know I do.
Lauren, even her car is red.
Oh my
And when she
goodness.
got her new car, she's like, it needs to be the right shade of red. It needs to be RiSe red. Can't just have
Why
any
are
of
you
it.
wearing
It's
red
gotta be
today,
RiSe
Jodie?
I know, because I clash with my background then.
With the background, yes. You gotta
but-
stand out.
Yeah. So yeah, it can't be fire engine red. It's got to be crimson red. Anyway.
Yes.
Anyway, so I wanted a red and black logo. I just think the S is like it's a bit more of the female body. It's just like that, and
Exactly.
something about that.
see
The
that.
S just looked like it stood up in the rise, because it's really rising. The red, it's a red and black logo, and the red is the woman rising from whatever it is.
I love
Those
that.
around you, your own self-esteem, your own individuality. You can take it however you want it.
I've never actually thought of the S like a female body, but yeah, I can see that now.
Sexy female, yeah.
Sexy, rising from the ashes, you know?
That's right.
And Jodie, you are very outspoken on topics that you believe in, and I guess Anastasia, you're the same with the charity and always helping women. So, you know, there's obviously rights of women to live in, you know, safe, loving, healthy environments.
Yeah.
One of my final questions I wanted to ask you before we get into a game, that'll be fun. What do you girls think could be done in the future to further women's rights and to keep especially the endangered women, you know, with a lot of domestic violence and everything, keep them safe as well?
I think there's just got to be options. So, you know, relationships are, they can go into different places, different mental health issues come along, different drug issues come along, different life events come along, and things can turn. But when you are a mother at home with children and have no financial independence yourself, you don't have options. You do not have options. So regardless of, you know, what might be happening or what you stand for, you can't leave necessarily. You can't, because you're trying to look after children and there's nowhere to go. So I think as a nation, as a collective, we have to have options for those women to be able to leave because they choose not to stay in that environment, and get their children out of that as early as possible, because even living in those environments then causes scars and causes, you know, psychological scars on the children. So it it becomes like a magic roundabout, then it repeats itself and whatever. So I just think that having women have the options earlier before they're broken down, because their confidence is generally really affected, which is why it's an area that's so I guess dear to my heart, that it's the breaking down of women's confidence that has them stay much longer than they ever should have, or has them believe that they'll never be able to get a job or stand up on their own or what have you. And, we've done a lot of things over the years in some of the programs that we've run. We've donated a lot of programs. We did some fundraising for domestic violence charities. We've done some donation things where we had a whole lot of beautiful bracelets made. And then when our guests at our event would buy one, we'd donate one as well. So we sent all these beautiful bracelets that had a protection charm on them to give to women who are in refuges over Christmas, because often they get the kids get a lot of toys and things that people donate, but no one's really focusing on something that the women can have for Christmas or what have you when they're in that sort of situation. So I think we need to have those options and employ women that are in those situations and give them flexibility. And, it's that conversation, I think, that needs to be extended so that women in, whether it be domestic violence or other toxic relationships or in danger in any way, have options. Yeah. And that's the most important. And then obviously have, resources to get help and things like that.
And I think there's a mind shift in it as well, because we refer to women's rights and equality and all these different things as being women's issues, and they're not. They're global human issues. And I think that comes down to a basic level of understanding and education.
Yes.
We can educate and support and resource women as much as we like, but unless there's education across the board with women and with men, because if a woman is in a situation and there is domestic violence and there's a male perpetrator, then it's not just her issue, it's his issue as well. And she may leave, and then the next woman that comes into his life will deal with the same situation. So there needs to be a certain level of education, I think, and just acknowledgement that it is a global issue and it is a human issue. It's not a women's issue. Women's right is not a women's issue. It's a world issue. And it belongs to all of us. And unless we all educate, our daughters and our sons, it's not just about empowering our daughters and saying, if you're in a situation like that, you need to leave and you need to know that you've got support. It's empowering our sons as well to say, this is not the way to go. This is not how you become a decent human being, not a decent man, a decent human being. And I think we need to get rid of those gender roles in that and just accept that it is a global issue and we all need to work on it.
Treat everybody the way you want to be treated.
Exactly.
Especially if guys put themselves in our situation, I'm sure they wouldn't want to be treated like that.
No.
That's
cool. Right.
Thank you very much, ladies. I've never asked that to anybody before, so I'm really glad that, maybe I need to start asking that question a bit more. We started off very high. I love it. Well, would you like to lighten the mood a little bit and maybe play a game and verse each other?
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes. You like
now,
a bit of competition?
Yeah, now watch the competitive spirit come out.
This is what I'm excited
about.
Love you.
Love you. Take me down.
Bring it on.
Well, it's also a great way for our audience to get to know you better too.
It better not be a spelling game though, Lauren.
No.
Not a spelling game.
That would be a little unfair, wouldn't it? Since Anastasia's like,
I'm not playing. I don't play spelling games.
She's not going to play.
Well, we have a game here on Rave It Up called the 2-minute hot seat. So what is involved in this is I ask you various questions and you just have to pick your preference. So very easy. It's like dogs or cats, singing or dancing. And you have to answer as many questions in 2 minutes as possible. And then, obviously, we'll see who's answered more questions between you two, but we'll also see where you sit on the leaderboard. We'll also see where you sit on the leaderboard up against everyone else that's played the game on the show. So very exciting.
That's a different level of pressure, Lauren.
I know. It's always very entertaining for us, for me in the audience. But it's also really fun for you as well. I've had someone play it to me and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is fun, but intense.
It's hard. Okay.
So, I'm going to, whoever wants to go first, who would like to go first?
All right, I'll do it.
All right.
I'll do it.
Your name, go alphabetical. Her name
your
comes
name
before.
starts with A. We're going to
Alphabetical
start with
always works.
Anastasia. So,
And
Jodie,
there's
don't think
A's
you
in
have...
my name.
Well, Jodie, don't think you have a bit of an advantage here now because you're going to hear the questions beforehand because I'm going to give you a mixed version of the question.
I'm sure you are.
Woohoo!
All right, let's do it.
All right. Okay, let me get my stopwatch out. All right. Do you have any questions, Anastasia? You ready to go?
Can I see the answers?
No. That is cheating. Since we're on Zoom today too, I'm going to give you ladies both 2 minutes 15, just because there's, a little bit of delay, not like it would be face-to-face, just to make you fair amongst everyone else on the leaderboard too. So, all right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Facebook or Instagram?
Instagram.
iPhone or Samsung?
iPhone.
Apple or Android?
Apple.
Rap or rock music?
Oh, rap.
Rock or pop?
Pop.
Pop or country?
Pop.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Skiing or snowboarding?
Oh, neither.
Comedy or
Skiing,
action?
I guess.
Comedy or action?
Action.
Blondes or brunettes?
Oh, that's hard. I was a blonde, now I'm a brunette. Blondes.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Sunglasses or hat?
Sunglasses.
SUV or convertible?
Convertible.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
PlayStation or Wii?
PlayStation.
Singing or dancing?
Singing.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Italian or Chinese food?
Italian.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Kim Kardashian or Scarlett Johansson?
Definitely Scarlett Johansson.
Johnny Depp or Will Smith?
Oh, Will Smith.
Mall or online shopping?
Mall.
Cinema or home movie?
Cinema.
Ice cream or gelato?
Oh, ice cream.
Cake or cookies?
Cake.
Heels or flats?
Always heel.
Too easy.
Friends.
Oh, no, that's mean, but family.
Football or soccer?
Soccer.
Christmas or your birthday?
Christmas.
Night or day?
Always night.
Dress or skirt?
Dress.
Straight or curly hair?
Curly.
Eye
Don't look at
color
this.
blue or brown?
Brown.
Vampire or werewolf?
Vampire.
Texting or calling?
Oh, texting.
Sydney or Melbourne?
Sydney.
Friday or Saturday?
Saturday.
TV or movies?
Movies.
Starbucks or Glory Jeans?
Gloria Jeans.
Snow or surf?
Surf.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Harry Potter.
Family Guy or The Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Now we're out of time. Wow. All right. So
Oh, some of it was hard.
I know. I like to make sure you stump a little bit in there.
Oh, there was some things. I think that when you said singing or dancing, I'm like, I love singing, but I'm really bad at it.
That doesn't matter.
Probably dancing, but it's all good.
Confident. If it's a technique that brings your confidence up, that's all that matters.
Oh, that was good fun.
Well, Anastasia, you have answered 43 questions. So, Jodie, you have to beat 43 questions. Do you think you can do it?
I'm counting.
You're
I'm going to
counting?
be doing these ones.
All right, Jodie, are you ready now?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Cinema or home movie?
Home movie.
Heels or flats?
Heels.
Italian or Chinese food?
Italian, hate Chinese.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Sunglasses or hat?
Sunglasses.
Mac or PC?
PC.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
SUV or convertible?
Hate cats. What was that? A convertible.
SUV
Oh, convertible.
Sweet or salty?
Sweet.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Summer or winter?
Summer, hate winter.
Dress or skirt?
Dress.
Christmas or your birthday?
Birthday.
Singing or dancing?
Dancing.
Mall or online shopping?
Online shopping.
PlayStation or Wii?
Hate them both.
Ice cream or gelato?
Ice cream.
Lipstick or lip gloss?
Lipstick.
Blondes or brunettes?
Brunettes.
Skiing or snowboarding?
Skiing.
Eye color, blue or brown?
I'm blue.
Facebook or Instagram?
Insta.
Straight or curly hair?
Straight.
Night or day?
Day.
Instagram or YouTube?
Insta.
Vampire or werewolf?
I'd be a vampire.
Texting or calling?
Text.
Friday
Hate
or
call.
Saturday?
Fridays.
iPhone or
iPhone. Hate
TV or
Samsung.
movies?
What was that?
TV or movies?
Theatre.
Harry Potter or Twilight?
Oh, hate Harry Potter. Twilight.
Apple or Android?
Apple. Hate Android.
Family Guy or The Simpsons?
Hate them both.
Rap or rock music?
Rock.
Rock or pop?
Pop.
Pop or country?
Country.
Leather or denim?
Denim.
Bike or scooter?
Bike.
Backpack or suitcase?
Backpack.
Tattoos or piercings?
Piercings.
Biting your nails or picking your nose?
Biting nails.
Guitar or drums?
Drums.
Pen or pencil?
Pencils.
Sneakers
I
or
love
thongs?
pencils. Knickers. Who?
Sneakers or thongs?
Thongs.
Maybe I should add that question in. We're out of time.
Like, wow.
Wow. How many questions do you think you answered in that time?
I've got no idea. I added. I know I added.
Anastasia is the question.
Probably not. I added too much. I added too much ad lib.
Well, so Anastasia answered, what was it, 43 questions. And Jodie, you have answered 46 questions. Just 3. Look at you, Jodie. Congratulations, ladies. Oh, and where do you
I realize how clear I am about things in life.
Yeah, you're like, I hate that. No, definitely not.
It's very polar. I don't have middle ground in many things. I'm like,
Great, you're very decisive. A lot of people
Very
are like that.
I'm like,
Yeah.
take it or leave it. I could
No,
do both. I'm not sure.
very
I
clear
answered it
about
like the
what
way
I like.
Anastasia does. Like, but I like both.
I don't want to. My star sign is Libra. I don't like to choose.
No,
it
what's
makes
that?
It's like we do balance. We don't want to make decisions.
I feel like I'm a bit of both. Like, I'm like that with some of them, and then others, just like Jodie, I'm like, ugh, hate that. Definitely, I guess I'm choosing that one.
Very clear.
So, Anastasia, you're sitting 54 on the Rave It Up leaderboard, and Jodie,
Not out of 55 people.
no, out of 130 people. So,
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
Better than average, Dale. Better than average.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jodie, you're sitting 51 on the Rave It Up leaderboard with Miguel Maestre from the living room. Same spot.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. That was a lot of
Excellent.
fun. Well, if we ever all meet in person one day, we might have to play it again and try to get higher up on the leaderboard. And
So
Anastasia,
we're going to have
maybe
to
you
figure out
try
whether
and
we're
beat
with
Jodie.
heels or... Is it a
Hey.
daytime thing or a nighttime thing?
I don't know. I think a nighttime's thing, so we can get the champagne out. What do you think?
Yeah, and the high heels.
Well, we are unfortunately
That
getting...
should be added. That should be one of your questions. Champagne or wine? You need to add that in. Or
I'll add that in for you ladies. I'll
champagne
write
or
it down
beer,
right
because
now.
that would be very
I always like some, new questions. Or it could also be like white or red wine or wine or beer. Well, there's heaps of questions in that department.
right. That's right.
What would your answer be, ladies? Champagne, I'm guessing?
Easy for champagne.
Always.
Yeah.
Champagne with the heels and some red.
Exactly.
Down pat now. Well, we are unfortunately getting to the end of the interview, but as a closing statement, and was probably the most important question, knowing what you know now, what would you tell your 14-year-old selves?
Oh, geez. It's funny you should say that because we do have 14-year-old daughters. So sometimes when I speak to my daughter, I think about...
That's so poignant.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
I'd probably tell my 14-year-old self to stop caring what other people think. I think at that age, I was so caught up in looking foolish or embarrassing myself or doing something silly. And I wished I'd known then that it didn't matter and that I shouldn't care about that.
Yeah. What about you, Jodie?
I think I'd say don't worry so much about worrying about what you're going to be when you grow up, because it's going to change and things are going to come into your life that you can't predict, and you're going to grow in ways you can't predict. So just don't try to have it all worked out. I think I was still trying to have it all worked out at that age, just trying to go, well, I need to know the answers, but and probably just to continue, just do the personal development, learn, grow, just do more of that. Because I think that's the real key to being able to learn not to care what other people think, and being able to do and manage your mindset and learn about yourself. The more you do that from a young age, the better the better it's going to happen. It's just the better you're set up to manage the challenges that life inevitably brings our way. So
that's good advice for us all, actually.
Yeah.
All self-development, everybody.
Do it.
And if our audience do want to contact you ladies, find out what you're up to, check out the podcast, where should they go?
RiseWomen.com is our website. Obviously, we're on the Instas and the Facebooks and all that sort of stuff. And then, Secrets of Confident Women podcast, you can listen to on our website or on all your favorite website platforms, podcast platforms.
Podcasting platforms, yes.
Yeah.
And you've obviously got the book called Pumped that they can go check out too.
Got the book. Yes, if you're in Australia, you can purchase that on our website or, online. All those things.
Got a couple of courses as well, a couple of online courses, LinkedIn as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're everywhere.
I know.
Type in Rise Women into Google and you're taking over. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today, ladies. I really appreciate your time and just giving us just gold today, little nuggets of wisdom.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun. It was really good fun. And I hope listeners got something out of it and could take away a little bit of learning and something. That's
what I'm hoping for too. But if you lady, once this lockdown is over, if we all, hopefully, we're all in Sydney, aren't we? Hopefully we can all get a nice glass of champagne one day and meet.
The restaurants are going to be booked up. We need to be booking something
right away.
Because I will be saying yes to every invitation to leave.
And never taking it for granted again.
Never. Even my daughter said to me the other day, you bought this on, you said you wanted more family time, and now we've had that much family time.
It's your fault, all right?
No more family time. We want reduction in the family time.
And if you ladies ever want to come on the show again, just let me know. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Well, I hope you all enjoyed today's interview. If you'd like to check out any of our other interviews, visit our website, raveituptv.com. And remember, our podcast is on all podcasting platforms now. Just type in Rave It Up. And please tell your friends. And if you haven't gotten our book, Knowing What I Know Now yet, please do so. It is available as paperback and ebook, and an audiobook version is coming very soon. And if you would like to continue supporting Rave It Up, maybe even extend the support a little bit more, please visit patreon.com/Rave It Up. You can pick a membership tier that suits you and your budget, and in return, you get a lot of free stuff and bonus content for as little as $4 a month. So cheap, right, guys? And we really appreciate anything you can give. You can also donate via PayPal via our email address, raveituptv@gmail.com. Thank you so much for supporting Rave It Up during this difficult COVID time. We really, really appreciate it. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!